Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts.
Oh my.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about different types of spirits.
Yay.
This is going to be probably a shorter episode. We're just going to kind of talk about the different spirits, and I kind of thought it would be fun just to pick a topic and not really go over anything beforehand, so if it seems completely unscripted, that's because it is. I thought it would be fun. So, yeah. So we're basically, there's many websites that list this, but the one we are using is Ghosts and Gravestones, which basically lists what it is, and I'm just going to kind of read what their description is of it. Like I said, I mean, this is, you can find it on Wikipedia and a whole bunch of other things, but theirs is just kind of formatted nicely, so I'm just going to kind of go off of that.
But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, do all that stuff. Go do the podcast. Go watch our movie. Go do all the things that have anything to do with Spirit Light Productions. Please. Please. We have a Patreon. You get some stuff. You get named as a producer. I have cards that I made that are really cool.
They're somewhere in this room.
They are somewhere in this room. Just...
Yeah, do stuff. Listen to our other stuff. Comment. Just be cool. All right?
Comment.
We're trying.
We'd like to know you exist, so please comment.
Trying to do more than just haunt reviews, because we can only do those like in a month and a half. And this year sucked for that, so,
right.
Okay.
So,
thanks.
Let's talk about spirits.
So the first one is labeled as the interactive personality. So this is, it's the most common of all ghosts. Spotted is usually of a deceased person, someone you know, a family member, or perhaps even a historical figure. These ghosts can be friendly or not, but often show themselves to others in a variety of ways. They can become visible, they can speak or make noises, touch you, or even emit an odor like perfume or cigar smoke, etc. to let you know they are there. Experts say, we'll get to that in a minute, experts say this is a type of ghost. This type of ghost retains its former personality of when they were alive and can feel emotions. And often, they are visiting you to comfort you or let you know something important. So if you happen to see a lost loved one, chances are they're because they feel that you want or need to see them. Okay. So, it's the thing I was talking about. I love in like the paranormal field and they say experts. It's funny to me just using the word expert for something like this, because it's kind of like, I mean, how does someone get classified as an expert? I feel like people that are actually experts, well, and again, I use that term lightly, would be people that have studied this for years and really looked into all the sciences behind it. But I think when people say paranormal experts, people think of like Jason Hawes or Zach Bagans, blah, 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 insert paranormal name person here that you see on TV.
Yeah.
No, but they're more just really good at marketing themselves and their own personality for the most part.
Yeah.
Especially with someone like, Zach Bagans or something,
Yeah.
I just love that as expert. I don't know. It's just such a weird... How can you be an expert in something that, like, still hasn't been proven? I don't know.
Right. And it's not like you can go... Well, nowadays you can actually take classes. But, like... There's not like, you can get like
class.
A PhD in ghost hunting, you know?
Sure you can.
It's like... I mean, you could probably print one out on the internet, but like to actually like...
I mean, you can get it.
Scientifically have, that...
So like, yeah, so I mean like, which is weird too because the site doesn't really list things like what you typically hear like residual hauntings, I guess is like.
Yeah.
But this doesn't really sound like that because this says they can interact with you. And
yeah,
stuff,
this is more like an
residual.
interactive spirit because they're actually I was gonna say like when we were reading these, there is a type because I saw the list briefly and they don't mention residual, and what residual is basically an imprint of a person going about their daily lives doing the same thing over and over and over again. Those are ones that like you see them like walking up steps and like you try to interact with them, they don't do anything. That's basically what a residual is they're continuing the same thing they used to do
right
when they were alive. And like they're not
like
conscious
an
beings or anything.
It's
yeah,
like
it's
a living
an imprint.
Memory.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. Living memory. Yeah.
But that might be somewhere later. But so like for this though, I will say because like they say that they will visit you like if you need them, almost like guardian angel type of thing. And they say about personal story time, I guess, because it says about emit an odor like perfume. After my grandma was like, I feel like all grandmas are known for wearing like perfume that smells like roses. And I remember like after she passed, it was like a year or two later, we would randomly be sitting like in the house and like you would just get like all of a sudden this real strong scent of the perfume she'd wear and then it would fade away, which was weird because it wasn't attached to anything and like it wasn't like when the heater was on or anything like that. It would just be like real random. And it also seemed to happen like around times that other weird little things would happen as well. So that's kind of interesting, I guess, because it says specifically that this type of spirit, and it's also usually someone that means something to you, but that's a way that they communicate is through smell.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if it's a purposeful thing. Have you ever had it, like particularly have you ever had any, because I guess it's an interesting topic, like paranatural experience with smell itself?
Yes, actually I was at Gray's Armory, which is in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was on a bus tour. If you watched any of our other shows, I mentioned it when I went to Franklin Castle. It was the same bus tour. We got to go inside Gray's Armory, and we're standing there at this big wooden staircase, and the guy's talking, and I just get this whiff of cigar. And then no sooner did I get that whiff of cigar that our tour guide actually goes, one of the spirits here is known to smoke cigars and smell of cigar smoke. And it was like almost like on cue that he knew that the guy was going to talk about him, and he like appeared right before that because I smelled it. Because I was like, because my dad smoked cigars and it was a very distinct smell,
Yes, cigars do have a very distinct smell.
And I was like, I'm standing there and I'm just like, it smells like cigars. And then sure enough, the tour guide goes, oh, our ghost smokes cigars. And it's like,
that's interesting.
Okay.
So like say it and then like instantly be
yeah.
I feel like that's like probably the number one thing you hear about. Like if it is a scent, it's usually cigars from a ghost. You know what I mean?
Cigars or roses. Yeah, it seems to be the most that you hear.
Old lady perfume is the thing I guess I've heard, and other things outside of just the story I've talked about. I don't know if I've actually ever really truly experienced it outside of that one instance that I was talking about. Because I've done a fair amount of paranormal investigations, I guess. But anything else you want to add to that one, or should we move on to the next type of spirit?
Let's keep going. Oh, the next one is ectoplasm or ectomist. Ever seen a mist or fog that looks like it's swirling? If so, you may be witnessing what paranormal investigators deem as an ectomist or ghostly mist. This vaporous cloud usually appears several feet off the ground and can move swiftly or simply stay still, almost like it's orbiting. These ghostly encounters have been captured on many videos and in photographs, and can be white, gray, or even black. Although they can simply appear this way, linger, then move away quickly, sometimes ectoplasms appear before becoming a full-bodied apparition. Many people have witnessed them outdoors, in graveyards, battlefields, and historical sites.
So, besides Ghostbusters, just ectoplasm. So, yes.
I actually have a photograph with a mist from the House of Willows.
Oh, yeah. Do you still have that somewhere that you know of?
I think so.
Well, if you can find it, send it to me. And if you're watching the video form, you'll be able to see it. If you're watching the podcast form, well, go try and find the video form, I guess. Well, it's not hard to find. There'll be a link. Now, and I do know I have the photo. I don't have it on digital anymore, but I do have, it's a print. It's in my trunk of my car. It's weird. I have, like, this weird book of just ghost pictures in my car trunk that's just been there for years. It's switched between, like, multiple cars now. But anyways, we were at Beaver Creek, ghost hunting years ago, before I even knew Kim. And it was my cousin and a couple other people I don't remember, but it was back in the day before I had a cell phone, so it was like digital camera. But it's like this. We kept seeing the blue mist. I believe we saw it with our eyes as well. And we got a couple pictures, but the one is very specific, and it's actually blue, and it's hovering over what used to be. There actually used to be a sign talking about the ghost that haunts there. If you're interested more in the Beaver Creek, we actually did do an episode of Haunted Adventures. I highly recommend that you go check that one out.
Do it.
Have you ever seen this with your own eyes? So you got pictures of it. Have you ever seen it with your own eyes? Like, ectoplasm.
Again, at the House of Wills.
Yeah.
I
You
saw
actually did see
a
it.
black mist in front of my face. Like, I looked up, I was looking down, and I look up, and there was just this black, like, thing just kind of hovering in front of my face. And it wasn't a human shape or anything. It was just this blob, like, misty, weird shape. And then it just kind of dissipated.
I feel like, I don't know if I've ever had like any personal experiences myself the times I've been to House of Wills. Now, I feel like it might be because the House of Wills is just so terrifying without ghosts. Like, just the state of the building, the fact that you're never sure if someone's going to break in and kill you. There's a lot of things that are going through my mind when I'm there, and I feel like I'm scared of all of those things more than I am a ghost. like there's animals that are, I mean, I've just walking around, there's a raccoon sitting there by me, and I'm like, oh, hi, raccoon. Like, it's...
That's true.
It's a great building. I'll put some pictures in too over top of me talking here if I can find them. So if you're watching video form, that's a little extra thing for you there as well. But yeah, if we can find those pictures, I would have put those in. So we'll move on to the next one here, which is the Poltergeist. This one I'm sure pretty much everyone's familiar with, but perhaps one of the most popular, terms most of us have used when it comes to ghosts. The word poltergeist actually means noisy ghost. Okay. Because it is said to have the ability to move or knock things over, make noise, and manipulate the physical environment. While many of us have heard the term before, a poltergeist is actually one of the rarest form of hauntings, and to many, the most terrifying. Loud knocking sounds, lights turning on and off, doors slamming, even fires breaking out mysteriously. Well, that's... have all been attributed to this type of spiritual disturbance. Another frightening aspect of poltergeist is the event usually starts out slowly and mildly, then begins to intensify. And while many times poltergeist activity is harmless and ends quickly, they have been known to actually become dangerous. Some experts, there it is again, explain it as a mass form of energy that a living person is controlling unknowingly. That's interesting. Whatever the case may be, poltergeists have caught the attention of paranormal enthusiasts and experts, scientists, and many others who are just plain curious. I don't know if I've ever... I know you have. Yeah, you would have, for sure. Because you've had things you said thrown at you, like the picture frame at Franklin Castle.
Yeah.
I don't know
The
if I ever
door
have.
shut at Colonial.
Yeah, that one's still a weird one, and I wish I had footage of that. Because we couldn't replicate it, but yeah, man,
We tried everything.
there was a giant door, and it just slammed while you were in one room, because it was like a giant metal door. It's very loud and startled us all, and we did try and recreate it. I mean, there's potential that it could have been something, because that place was weird, and it could have, the door could have, whatever's holding it open, I don't know if it could have unlocked or what. That place was really creepy, though. I do remember that place. The elevator, and I don't think this has anything to do with ghosts, but the elevator had a mind of its own. And for one, I can't believe we were brave enough to get in this elevator. Because mind you, this building it's now destroyed. It has now been bulldozed. For a while there, the people that own the Factory of Terror owned this building, and they basically were thinking about making a haunted house, but they, for whatever reason, couldn't, so it ended up being demolished. But wasn't in the best of repair. And the elevator had a mind of its own. So we get in the elevator to do whatever, go to another floor, and it just instantly selects the basement for us.
Yeah, it would just go on its own.
Yeah, it would just take you
like,
places.
Okay, take us someplace, and it would take us upstairs, or would take us to the basement, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
In past, Josh was a lot more scared of things. And so when it just took us to the basement, I believe the doors open, we just all started screaming, and I was just kidding, any floor that wasn't the basement. When we got there, and we're like, please.
That basement was awful.
I don't remember it too well, to be honest, but I do remember it being super creepy.
Yeah, I don't. I just remember you wanted me to do a solo down there, and
I always want people to do solos.
Oh, I couldn't do it. I think I lasted 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Nope, not happening. It was just very uncomfortable down there. I don't know why, but it was. But yeah, Poltergeist.
I don't.
I mean, besides, the picture frame and maybe the door, I really haven't had.
Well, because like they said, it is like a,
Very rare.
Yeah.
And it also says something about it actually being a living person, and that is actually called psychokinetic, kind of like telekinesis kind of thing, but it's basically somebody is emotionally distraught and they cause things to happen.
Yeah.
That's what, like, a lot of people think that poltergeist is it's somebody who is just really upset about something and they don't realize they're doing it, but they're causing, like, things to fall off shelves or things to move, and and they don't realize they're doing it. And a lot of times when that kind of stuff happens, the suggestion is to, like, have, like, therapy to talk about what's bothering you, and usually the activity kind of dissipates after that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I meant it because I read that and thought it was interesting and forgot to bring that up. Yeah, so that's like an interesting idea that you could be causing your own haunting.
Yeah.
Because you're just like mentally unstable or whatever it may be. That's interesting though. All right, the next one we'll move on to is orbs, and this will be Cam's turn. Yeah, the most controversial of the ghost hunting thingies.
All right, so orbs are probably the most photographed type of anomaly. They appear as a transparent or translucent ball of light that is hovering over the ground. And it is believed that orbs are the soul of a human or even an animal that has died and is traveling around from one place to another. The circular shape they take on makes it easier for them to move around and is often the first state they appear in before becoming a full-bodied apparition. If you're lucky enough to capture an orb on video, you'll be amazed how fast they can move. In photographs, they are usually white but can be blue as well. Now.
Yeah.
A lot of orbs that you see in these videos, that you see on the internet and on TV, are dust.
Or bugs.
Bugs. Like,
Usually,
you can see its wings.
Yeah, usually on video it's a bug.
It irritates me. I was watching something the other day, and literally you could see the wings on this thing, and they're like, oh, look at this orb we caught. And I'm like, no, you caught a freaking fly. Like, come on. Like, you could see it fluttering, yeah.
Yeah.
Orbs are dust.
Generally, yeah. No, I mean, like, there's some that are more compelling, like ones that, like, you can see, like, phase into walls or, like, and, like, go into a different room and stuff like that, But, I mean, like, generally, it is so hard to actually debunk, and Ghost Adventures loves, at least they used to. I don't watch those shows very much anymore. I know they used to love their orbs because orbs would always, like, go into Zach before he got demonically possessed and stuff,
They still love him.
God. Orbs is probably the number one thing that's controversial because you see a lot of amateur, ghost hunters, people that are new, kind of be like, oh, I got this, And one nice thing is, too, that now with, like, especially because a lot of people take pictures on their phones. A lot of people, like, have night modes, now, like the Samsungs, the Pixels, the iPhones, they have the night mode, so you don't use flash. And the flash is what really causes, because your light stuff's bouncing off of these small things, and it's just creating basically a...
Right, because orbs make their own light source.
Right, so now if you're taking, like, a long exposure shot and not using flash and get an orb, then it almost has to be something weird, because it wouldn't do that.
Right.
So that's compelling if that kind of thing happens. Or if you see an orb with your physical eyes, like I've mentioned I did at Jewish Cemetery, and that's in another episode. If you want to know more about that, you can check out our personal scary story episode of Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts.
Do it. Oh my.
There you go. But, So, orbs, like she says, is kind of like, it's hard to...
It is. It's very hard. It's very controversial. I am very, I'm on the fence with a lot of the orbs that I see in things.
It's at least 95%.
Yeah. and it's really hard. Like, you'll watch them and you're just like, no, and then you'll it's just, I mean, yeah, whatever what we said.
Right.
Most orbs are dust or bugs. If you can see its wings, it's a bug.
Obviously, yeah. Well, maybe it's a fairy. What if it's a
It's a
fairy?
fairy. Oh gosh,
It's a nymph. I don't know.
those people with the fairies.
Hey, well,
We went ghost hunting with these people, and they were like conducting a tour, which,
well, I think this is how we met, also.
yes.
But
So these people like speed walked us to this location. Now, mind
Yeah,
you,
they
this location was like a mile away where
if not-
all of us parked.
if not more. Yeah.
Maybe a mile and a half,
Mhm.
which I didn't realize. And I'm
It was-
fat and walking, and I'm
far.
like, But they were all about like the fairies and nymphs and
Oh yeah, the wood nymphs and stuff.
weird.
The water spirits and that. Very
Yeah. It's very strange.
pagany they were, I believe. It's kind of like, I think that they kind of dabbled in that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
I mean,
At least if you're gonna be religious, make it an interesting religion, right? Don't be
yeah.
go against
I
the
mean,
grain.
if I see a fairy, then yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
if I
believe in
see,
it too,
yeah,
but-
if I see a fucking fairy, I'll believe in them. Yeah, I mean, well, if I see anything, I'll believe in it, unless I'm like, on a substance of some sort. But I don't know. The last one here we got is funnel ghosts, which I hadn't actually heard this term before, but here it is. Most often spotted in homes or old historical buildings, the funnel ghost or vortex is frequently associated with a cold spot. They usually take on the shape of a swirling funnel, and most paranormal experts believe that they are a loved one returning for a visit or even a former resident at the home. Appearing as a wisp of light or a swirling spiral of light, they are often caught in photographs or on video. I don't think I've ever personally caught anything like this. I've obviously felt cold spots places, but cold spots are another one of those things where it's like, it's kind of hard, like, unless it's really drastically cold, really know,
Yeah.
you know?
Like if it's 90 degrees outside and you're feeling something that feels like it's 50 degrees, then like, yeah, I and
Right.
you're not in an air conditioned building, then that means something. But it's
I think one of the big problems that I have with just a lot of ghost hunting in general is kind of like when people are ghost hunting, they're you're going there obviously for the purpose of finding a spirit. So you're automatically start thinking things are spirit because that's what you're looking for. If you go looking for anything, you start seeing things in that. Like if you're home and just walking around, I mean, how often do you think, like, if the temperature changes a little bit from room to room or in a certain spot, you're not going to be like, I bet there's a fucking spirit in here. Like, no, you wouldn't even notice it. But, like, you're thinking about all these things when you're ghost hunting, so of course you're going to notice it. And then you have to really, people need to, like, stop and ask themselves more before they just open their mouths and just assume things are happening, which, makes for less fun entertainment, I suppose. But, like, is this something that actually is normal instead of just instantly assuming that it's something paranormal, So it's a little bit hard. I don't think we've ever caught anything like these spirals and stuff. I know I've seen footage or other people that's supposedly caught this type of thing, but I've never personally myself.
yeah, no, I've never actually. So, what do you think?
Yeah. Have you
We wanna
experienced
know.
any of these?
Yeah, have you had a ghost experience? Have you had any of these things? Do you have any evidence of it? I mean, share it, comment, like.
Let us know if you want to talk
do
about
that
it. We'll
stuff. Yeah.
talk to you.
Yeah, we'll interview you.
The podcast and the YouTube channel, 'cause they're always in tandem.
Have a haunted location you want us to go to? Let us know.
Right. Have any suggestions for videos you'd like us to do in the future?
Yeah.
Let us know that. We are open for things. But yes, I think that does it for this episode. Like I said, thank you guys for listening or watching on whatever platform you're choosing. Like I said, to make sure if you're listening, you can go check out the YouTube video if you want to see the video form. And again, if you're listening on YouTube and be like, man, I wish I had a more convenient way to maybe listen to this. I'm going to work. Well, there's a podcast and the links in the description of either or. So you have no excuse. You just click things and you do it real easy. That's it. Check out the Patreon to think about becoming part of that for fun little gifts and to help support your small YouTuber, that you hopefully, I'm sure for some we're like those small YouTubers that people like have these YouTubers are like, well, I know about them, like my special little YouTubers that other people don't know about. They're the special thing I have, Well, help us be someone else's special little YouTuber, please.
Yeah.
But that all being said, thank you very much for listening and watching, and we will see you guys in the next one.